Okay, it says live. It says live. I haven't gotten the live notification yet. So, just, how's it going, guys? What's going on? How's it going? Hello, hello. Hello. Happy Tuesday. Feels like a Monday. Hope you all had a wonderful Labor Day. I actually labored on Labor Day, meaning I didn't know, like, not labored like had a baby labored. I've done that before, but worked. I worked on Labor Day, but I'm busy. A lot going on. Hey, Deb. Hey, Ben. Welcome. Get in here, guys. We're live. Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me? I always do this because if you follow the show and you come on here frequently, you know that I've actually done an entire live, well, almost an entire live on like mute, or there's something wrong with my microphone, and I talked and talked and nobody could hear me. So I just don't want that to happen. Let's scroll down here and say hi to everybody. Hey from Colorado. Hey, Michaela. Snow in Colorado. We're supposed to have it. I was in shorts yesterday. And jeans today. Michigan here. Hey, Dave. Hey, Patricia. Hello, hello. What's up, Daniel? Hey, everyone. So we're live. I'm going solo today. My producer, Rob Hicks, is out of town and unable. He has a whole studio that he produces from, and so he's not with his studio. So I'm on my own. And so there's not going to be any fancy things. No fancy pictures. No fancy scrolling. No fanciness. It's just me talking to you. So we're just gonna start off kind of running through what's going on in the country and the world. Polls are tightening. If you guys are aware of that. Polls are tightening. Not that we believe the polls anyways. But if the lying polls are gonna say they're tightening, then it's really tight. Right? It's really tight. Also, Boca Raton, Florida. Michael, what's up? Okay, let's do this. Let's do this, America. You're from Colorado? Yes. Oh, you have 4 inches so far. Oh my gosh, Michaela, where are you? Where are you, Michaela? Okay, so let's do this. Basically, like I said, the polls are tightening. There's a couple things that are trending right now on Twitter. I do Twitter. I know a lot of you guys don't do Twitter, but I do Twitter because it kind of like is a pulse on what's going on politically. Like whatever's kind of trending there, it usually like filters over into Facebook and into other platforms. So right now on Twitter, just so you guys know, Megyn Kelly is, you guys remember Megyn Kelly? Do you guys remember Megyn Kelly? I still like Megyn Kelly. I go back and forth with Megyn Kelly. The whole thing with Trump years ago when she did the interview with him, and that whole thing happened in 2016. And I'm a Trump supporter, so it's like what? And that kind of threw me off. And then she's cool. Like I'm not gonna talk about like how I feel about her. Like I appreciate her as a journalist. I think that she's very straightforward. Anyways, Kamala Harris goes and meets with Jacob Blake's family. Jacob Blake is the guy that was shot in Kenosha in the back a few times for resisting arrest. National headlines, started rioting there. All hell was breaking loose in Kenosha because of this incident. And we later find out that Jacob Blake was accused of being sexually assaulting a woman. So there's this whole, and he's got a rap sheet. And so immediately, we don't want to wait for facts or anything. Like we just like literally they lit Kenosha on fire. So that happened. And you start to read about this guy, and not the greatest. I wouldn't have my daughter dating Jacob Blake. And sexual assault to me as a woman is a big deal. And you would think to the Me Too movement, it's a big deal, right? Remember, we had the whole Kavanaugh hearing, and do you remember how Kamala Harris completely and totally tore Kavanaugh apart? There was a believe all women without hearing the other side of the story. It was immediately whatever the woman said, screw the men. Whatever the woman said is right. There's no way a woman would lie about that, when we later find out that women lie all the time about this stuff. And we need to sit back and wait for the proper procedures to take place when one is found guilty or not guilty. I still believe in the rule of law. I still believe that you're innocent until you're proven guilty. Okay. But Kamala Harris decided to tear Kavanaugh apart. Well, just recently, she met with Jacob Blake's family, and she said, I'm proud of Jacob Blake. Now, proud of someone that has sexual assault charges against them, I don't know if that's presidential material. I don't think anyone that says, hey, I'm proud of you. This woman over here says you might have raped her, but we don't know if that's true or not, but I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. That's basically what Kamala says. And it's causing the whole Me Too movement being like, what? Like, it's a double standard, right? It's a double standard, like Tara Reid with Joe Biden. Like, we don't want to hear Tara Reid. The Me Too movement doesn't want to hear from Tara Reid, although she's accused the presidential nominee for the Democrat Party of sexually assaulting her in a very graphic way in a courtyard in D.C. when she was interning for him. But we don't want to talk about that. We don't, only for Republicans, only for conservatives do we actually believe the woman. So Kamala does not believe the woman. She's just coming out and saying she's proud of Jacob Blake. And Megyn Kelly is trending because she said, how about the word Kamala used proud. I was proud of him. I'm proud of Jacob Blake. And so Megyn Kelly's come out and said, how about a word for the victim? Okay. What's the word for the victim? So she's trending. Everyone's like, oh my gosh. It's another double standard, like I said. So what else is trending on Twitter? Oh, The View. The View. I don't watch The View. I just don't do it. There's a bunch of liberal women that hate the president, that sit around and just spew hate. They don't talk policy. They don't talk real issues. They just talk hate for the president. So today, I guess, what's her name? Sarah Huckabee Sanders. She was on with The View. And it's funny because this guy on Twitter, I retweeted it, but this guy on Twitter, he shows a clip of one of the women, I don't know what her name is, Sunny or whatever. She's like going after Sarah Huckabee Sanders. She's like, this is Trump's America. I mean, anarchy, chaos, mayhem, all hell is breaking loose, and this is Trump's America. And then Sarah Huckabee, then he clipped it there. Like that was it. But what happens after that is what's really important, because Sarah Huckabee Sanders comes back in and she says all of the chaos, looting, mayhem, anarchy, complete craziness is happening in Democrat-run cities. So anytime somebody comes at you guys and says, this is happening in Trump's America, no, this is happening in Democrat-run cities. Okay? This is why we need to get rid of anybody that's a Democrat that's running a city right now, because they are pawns. They are keeping the cities locked down for COVID. They are letting all hell break loose in these Democrat-run cities and these Democrat-run states, because they're trying to push craziness up until the election. This is all political. And if you literally cannot see that at this point, you are blind. You're completely and totally blind. Totally blind. Actually, and the more statistics that come out about this COVID, that 94% of the people that died from COVID had other complications, had other things that actually caused their death, and COVID was just the thing that tipped the scale. 94%, guys. And then also just released by the New York Times, because a lot of people don't know this, but the New York Times came out and they said that I'm drawing completely blank. But they said that, hold on, I'm going to pull up the article because it's huge. It's absolutely huge. They came out basically saying that, and this is the New York Times, because the New York Times is, and it's a piece by, she's on OAN and she's phenomenal, but she comes out, and Twitter totally censored this on my page. I had it on my page, just so you guys know. I had this up on my page, and they literally share, like, they can control the algorithms, right? So they'll share it to a limited amount of people. They shared this to the most limited amount of people. So the people on Conservative Momma had no idea that this actually broke by the New York Times. But 90% of positive COVID-19 tests should be negative. That's the New York Times, and you can look it up. They discovered that 90% of the COVID positive test actually should, in fact, be negative. I mean, that's groundbreaking. That's monumental, huge news, and no one wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to say anything. Why? Because they want the cases. They want to increase the cases. They want case. Everybody has COVID. Oh my gosh, Trump can't control COVID. Oh my gosh. Okay, when 90% of these positive cases of COVID really should be negative, and 94% of the people that died from COVID actually had something else that caused the illness. All of it's political. All of it. And they're keeping these states locked down, these Democrat governors and these Democrat mayors, and they're letting these Rochester, New York, guys. Did you guys see this last week? Rochester, New York. Okay, a nice city, not too far away from New York City. Maybe someone is on here from Rochester. I don't know, but people are sitting outside a restaurant, and along comes Black Lives Matter, and they literally destroy this restaurant, chanting, screaming. I mean, the president just tweeted out another thing happening in Pittsburgh. They entered a McDonald's and started screaming and causing just chaos there. These are Democrat-run cities. So I'm not going to let anyone get away with, well, this is happening in Trump's America. No, it's happening in Democrat-run cities. Let's be very, very clear about that. And it's all happening for political purposes. All of it. So anyways. So I mean, that's something that I really wanted to highlight. And I'm not going to stay on here too long. I don't even know how long I've been on. But I do want to address something because, well, there's a couple things. At the very end, I want to say something else. But Biden, my aunt, I was on a prayer call this morning, and my aunt in Chicago is on, she's on the call, and she mentioned a funny story. Her husband has a coworker that's a total Biden supporter, and he went up to the coworker and he's like, I want to try to understand this. Okay, I want to know why do you support Joe Biden? Like, can you explain to me, like, what are some policies, what are some stances that he's taken that you're like, yes, I totally align with Joe on that? And the guy could not answer. He couldn't give one issue or policy that he stood with Biden on. Not one. And I know people like this too. I know people that if I was to ask them, why do you support Joe Biden? They would not be able to respond. They wouldn't be able to lay out 5 reasons, 3 reasons, 2 reasons why they support Joe Biden. What policies did he enact? Did he usher through Congress and pass into bills? And what did he do that was so incredibly yes for 47 years of being in office? Name 1 or 2 things that he did that you're like, that's my guy. Totally my guy. I'm totally a Biden supporter. Because what? Of the 1994 crime bill that he was in support of? Because of his support of the Iraq war? Is that what really does it for you for Biden? Is it when he said that he thought that, he didn't want his children growing up in a racial jungle in the 1970s when desegregation was taking place? Was that where you're like, yes, Biden's my man? Or was it when he sat just recently down with a black man and he told this man that he wasn't black if he didn't vote Democrat? Or was it when he was talking to the children in the pool and he said that he enjoyed it when they touched his hairy legs? I'm just curious, what is it about Joe Biden that you're like, yes, Joe's my man. Joe is my man. You can't answer. Come on, trolls. Tell me. You can't answer. You can't tell me. And the only thing that people, it's because of Trump, right? They're like, well, I just don't like Trump. I don't like Trump. Orange man's bad. They can't tell you why they support Biden. All they can say is they don't like Trump. And then you start to talk about policy with these people, issues with these people. The fact that Trump wants to have secure borders, that he doesn't just want anybody walking into our country and not knowing who they are and what their intentions are. Or the fact that he wants you to be able to exercise your Second Amendment right. Or the fact that he supports free speech. Or the fact that he got prison reform through and signed into law. What? The fact that he's pro-life. The fact that he's appointed Supreme Court justices, 2 of them. Like, I can lay out the policies. They can't. Honestly, they can't. It's hilarious. When you ask a Biden supporter, why do you support Joe Biden? They can't tell you. They just don't like Trump. And then you talk policy with these people. Because gosh, man, I know some liberals, and you talk policy with them, they don't know, and they don't understand policy. They don't get it. And then you're like, well, let's talk policies of the far left. Let's talk what AOC wants to do to this country. Okay? Let's talk about the Green New Deal and what that would do to our country, to our children. Let's talk about your policies of no school choice, where if a kid is born into poverty and so he's got to go to a sucky school down the road because you guys don't support school choice, when we conservatives support free school choice, so that if that kid is born in a crappy area, he can go to any school he wants to that's doing well. You guys want to keep this thing locked down because it's a cycle, right? It's a cycle. You keep people dependent. You give them just enough to get their vote, and you don't do anything else. So it's a joke. I challenge everyone on here, ask a Biden supporter in a very nice way. Hey, can you give me 5 reasons on why you support Joe Biden? Like, what did he do in his 47 years that you're like, yes, Joe, got to get Joe back in there. He really, God, Joe. I really, and then tell me your stories. Write me. I'll read the comments. Message me, because I love it. I love to hear them tell us why they support Joe Biden without talking about Trump. That's the challenge, because every time it's, well, I just don't like Trump. That's it. That's all they can do. And to close this whole thing down really quick, I want to talk. What did I want to say? I want to talk to you guys. I am going to be addressing China over the next 2 months. I literally, and this is kind of, I'm going to be completely real. I had no idea the threat that China poses to us. And when I say China, I'm not talking about the people of China, okay? I'm talking about the Communist Party of China and what they're doing to our country right now as you guys watch this. What they're doing to our education, to our land, to our ports, to our economy. I had no idea. And I'm gonna be honest. As a mom, I'm busy following all these things, but China has never been a focus for me. And I was recently contacted by a couple organizations that are like, would you address this? Would you talk about it? And I am more than willing to talk about it. I'm more than willing to dive into it. I hope to be having some guests on that can really bring this to the forefront, because I don't think people understand. They don't understand, because I didn't. I'm going to be completely honest. I didn't understand how the Communist Party of China is literally infiltrated our country, and the vast majority of Americans are completely unaware of it. Like, we don't even know. We just to give you guys stats really quick. The majority of ports in the world, the majority of ports in countries in the world are owned by Communist China. Do you understand that if a country can shut down a port, they can shut down a country. And they own the vast majority of them. They own toll roads within the United States. They own land in the United States. They've infiltrated our educational programs throughout the United States. They have infiltrated our universities across the United States. And it's kind of like, and when you start to like research, and I start to like, and I've been doing this over the last week, I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, I kind of feel like an idiot for not knowing all that I'm learning right now, because I didn't know. And so I think it's extremely important for us to dive into this topic, to bring it to the forefront over the next couple months leading up to the election. So I'm going to be doing satire on it. I'm going to be addressing it on my show. It's going to be something that I want to become almost like just a talking point. When you're talking with a liberal, when you're talking with somebody that supports Biden, to be able to bring China and the concern of the Communist Party of China and their direct role in our election, and who they're rooting for and why, and who is tied to China and why, and how this directly impacts our kids, okay? Because this is, like I continue to say all the time, this is so much bigger than Trump, okay? People have got to get past Trump, okay? This is so much bigger than Trump. And it's amazing how much the Chinese owns a stake in our global world, and how much control they have in our global world, and how too many have been completely like unaware of it. And so I want to bring it, I want to highlight it, I want to address it, and I'm going to be talking a lot about it. So I want to give you guys a heads up on that, because that's coming. So and yes, Brenda, Trump does know. Trump knows what's up with China, but I don't think most people do. Like, you hear like, oh, China, and it's like, oh, China's over there. Like, China's a country over in the east. Like, it's, and what we don't know is China has literally come to America. They're infiltrating our country, the Communist Party of China. And so when we talk China, we're not talking over there. We're talking here and now, and that's concerning. So I want to be having some guests on and directly addressing this. So, all right, you guys, with that, I'm going to close it down. Thanks for tuning in. Share this. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate my supporters. I'm so thankful for you. And just keep praying for our president, man. Like, a lot of people say, like, what do we do? And at the end of the day, I'm a strong believer in prayer, the power of prayer. I see it every day in my life. I literally see things I pray for come into fruition all the time. And I believe that you can never underestimate the power of prayer, the power of Jesus' name. There's incredible power in it. So begin to pray for our president, pray for wisdom and protection and a victory on November 3rd. Victory. I'm claiming the Electoral College. I'm claiming the popular vote. So if you can go there with me, I believe that we can believe for that. We can believe for a total landslide victory. So when they try to come at us with, oh, look, we found these truckloads of ballots that are all Democrat. It's such a landslide win on November 3rd that those ballots, those corrupt, cheating ballots, are irrelevant. So that's what I'm believing God for. And I would love for you guys to join in with me in believing for that as well. So with that said, be blessed. God bless you. God bless your families. And we will talk soon. Bye, guys.